playlist that's the same way. That's how you know when you can just when they seamlessly fit into what you already know and love.
Right.
That's when you know it's going to be an artist you're going to follow for a long time.
Absolutely. And we will continue to follow, like you said, all of the artists. So keep updating us as you continue to make new music. Welcome everyone to our first ever Fresh Artist Fridays Rewind. I am the founder of Hip Hop Scriptures, Sophia Chichi Lewis, and I'm here with the lovely Priscilla. Priscilla, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Guadarrama. I am Hip Hop Scriptures blogging intern, and I'm basically the one who gets to interact with these artists and write up the blog posts that we'll be reviewing over today.
Yes, I'm really excited. So for the month of July, that's what we're going to cover. And we had 5 artists, and every single artist that you covered, I enjoyed not just your write-up, but listening to their music and kind of getting ready for today. I realized it's going to be a lot harder than I thought. So Priscilla and I are going to kind of talk through each of the ones we covered last month, and then try to pick like our top our top artists from those 5. So the first artist that we covered was Gage with his album Lord of the Fly 2. Gage is from the DC, Maryland area. He's now based out of Miami. He has been featured in The Source. And let's get into it. So one of the songs that stood out was added to this, because he had a Lord of the Fly 1 and this was 2, was Hyperspace. Mm-hmm. So I know you wrote about it, but my initial thoughts upon hearing that particular song was it's just like this Alchemist, Wu-Tang, Jadakiss influence, and Jadakiss is actually on the album on another track. And then of course and he's always paying homage to Hove. I felt like the bars were very measured. He had a really great flow, and every beat on the album I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Hyperspace was one of my favorites too. What I loved about it is when I think of Hyperspace, I thought it was going to be a really fast-paced song, and it's really not. I almost feel like I'm moving through time slowed down when I'm listening to that particular song. Yeah. And then the opening song, I think it's called Sharks on Land. Mm-hmm. Again, the same way. It was a very dreamy, kind of slow-moving song, and then the Jadakiss feature on it just was the cherry on top. I loved how that album opened.
Yes, and I had no idea, because I interact with him quite a bit on Twitter. So he's always talking about Hove and other influences, and he has mentioned Jadakiss, but I had no idea he was on the album. So like you, I was just like, it was already a solid album, but that was definitely the cherry on top. And then Invitation Only, I think that was the song we featured on Instagram when we shouted him out. That one, I have to give a shout out to the producer. I hope I'm saying his name right. It's Beaten Not. I love that beat, and it just had this amazing, just strong storytelling element to it.
I agree. That album was a pretty amazing production-wise, I would say, especially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just my general thoughts on Gage. He's extremely talented, very thoughtful artist. I encourage everyone to read his feature just to learn more about his come up and his influences. I don't want to give too much away, but some of his influences musically might actually surprise you.
Mm-hmm. And I think once you know who influences his music, you see the influence in his work 100%.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then after Gage, our next artist for the month of July, so much to say here, is King Prxnce. He's based out of Irvington, New Jersey, and this is his 11th studio album, and it's called Club Fantasy. So what are your thoughts on just him and the album?
What I thought was really interesting about King Prxnce is that he's predominantly a rapper, but this album that we featured is an R&B album at its core. A lot of the songs are rap songs. Most of them are pretty slow and R&B influenced. Mm-hmm. And I think my favorite out of the album was probably Nights Like This featuring Nisha Baby. Okay. Just because King Prxnce has such an amazing voice where he has such a deep, heavy voice, and Nisha's voice was so soft. Hearing them together on that song, I thought was so cool. Yeah. Especially when you listen to the song, the lyrics, what it's about. hearing like the two sides of it, I thought was amazing. That was a standout track for me.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorites. And I think, like I told you, when I first listened to the album, I did listen to it in the shower. And I didn't feel the need to jump out of the shower and skip any tracks. And as a matter of fact, when I got out, I listened to that whole album like straight through 2 more times that same day. So it's a very, very, very easy listen. I will say I felt like he has this like electric energy. It's kind of like listening to the songs. I don't know if it's the way he, he ordered them. I just feel like this is a cool guy. Like I want to hang out with him. I want to go party with him. I want to go to the strip club with him. I want to hear more about his love life. And that song Nights Like This, like you said, they play off of each other, him and Niche, really well. And, he's like, please come home. And I'm like, wow, it really sounds like he's going through something. Of course, Pole Dancer just kind of draws you in, first track on the album. And then the Madonna song, it feels like he's talking to someone specific. He's like, I want you to be my Rihanna, and just a very easy listen from beginning to end. So
Completely agree. I did the same thing actually. When I first listened to it, I heard it like 2 or 3 times just on accident practically. It's so easy and soothing and interesting to listen to as well.
Yeah. All right, Mr. King Prince. So then we have someone who I actually know, Sly Spitta. Shout out to Sly Spitta and the whole TNT crew. It's like I really don't have to look at my notes that much to talk about him, but from Brooklyn, just I've seen him perform at SOBs in New York City. Just if you know him, just a very professional, solid performer and extremely smart, very business oriented. He's been working for years to just continuously build his fan bases along with the whole TNT crew. So I know you had a lot of thoughts on the theme of the album and the visuals.
I loved the basketball theme that he carried through the whole album, and the visuals, the interludes, the lyrics. Mm-hmm. I thought it was done so well. Sometimes some albums that try to have a theme fall short of it, or it doesn't really match. I thought it went perfectly. He had a lot of pride for Brooklyn with that too. In the last 2 songs were End of Regulation and Overtime. Yeah. It starts with them cheering like, let's go Brooklyn. And then it goes into the second song. And the last song to me felt like a game day song. It was very hype. It had like the lyrics were very hard. It executed its theme so well for me. Mm-hmm. This was definitely a standout album as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the video for Shot Clock. And I'm sure Sly Spitta was very involved in the execution and just like the thought process, but whoever the team was that did the video did a great job. And then one of the songs that stood out to me that wasn't mentioned in his blog post was Much More. I really, really enjoyed that song. So just, again, beginning to end, just, I don't want to like put too much of my personal experience in it, but just a great album, great visuals, great rollout, because I know he did some pop-ups and stuff like that as part of the album rollout. So it was really a really fun artist to kind of reflect on. Mm-hmm. And next, out of Miami, more recently, we listened to Apollo Lofton, and the name of his album is Truth Is I'm Terrified. Okay, so just didn't even know what to expect. And like the first track is called Introvert, and it's just, I don't even know where the sample is from, but it's extremely soulful. So at this point, you don't know what the rest of the album sounds like, but you're just like, I'm in. I don't know who this guy is or what he's doing, but like, it just pulls you in on the first track.
I completely agree. I think I wrote about that in the blog post, how his style is so unique. And I feel like every song is a whole nother experience. Yeah. And I loved the samples and the melodies behind the song. I think I wrote about the song Still Punching, mm-hmm. which had very like old school vocals. It felt just so like soulful. It felt very nostalgic to me, exactly how you said. And then the lyrics were so not what I would expect to be paired with that song. Yeah. And that's how I felt the whole album. It felt very real, it felt very honest, and it felt very engaging in that way. I didn't know what I was gonna get with each song.
Yeah, each song, like you said, is very engaging. And I feel like he rides the beat like effortlessly, or at least it comes off that way. The song's still punching. It has this nostalgic feel, but I feel like he's like, get in the car. We're gonna take a ride, and I'm gonna tell you about my life and my lifestyle. I know this is a very personal album. I feel like it was beautifully composed, and I'm not gonna say surprisingly, but it was very relatable. Also, like I felt like you relate to almost every song.
Mm-hmm. The ending song, the No More Outro, I think he has a bonus track, but that's the official ending song, No More Outro. It felt like ending movie credits to me after going through the transformative album. It felt like such a nice finish. The ending words to the album are incredible. I really loved the finale.
Yeah. And I think he said this album was kind of like his coming of age, you know, him transitioning into adulthood. And so well done, Apollo Lofton. And then our most recent Fresh Artist Friday, I have to say, everyone that we've worked with so far has been really good to work with, but Vontae was great to work with. Just emanates this really warm energy, and just, you know, just appreciative of everyone that's like commenting on his post. So his album is called Note to Self. Vontae is out of Maryland. And I think we unanimously, you know, when we first started listening to the album, the first track that was like a standout was Love Games. And I think I had to kind of go back, because I was like, is he singing and rapping? Because it's kind of like a Lauryn Hill, where he's a strong singer. And we featured a video where he's singing, if you go to his blog post, and he's a strong rapper. So he has like this strong flow, but then he has these strong vocals. He can really sing. And all the interludes fit like perfectly into the album composition.
I loved, again, with Love Games, the voicemail interludes that connected it to the following song, which I think is On God.
Yeah.
Incredible. I also felt that particular song was super relatable. I feel like I know him based off of listening to that album, which is crazy that I've never spoken to him in person, and I feel like I understand him. I know where he's coming from. This album lyrically was so personal, and he delivered it perfectly as well. Again, the voicemails, those are like, and look into his real life. That went perfectly.
I listened to that again today, and yes, you're right about the voicemails, but not only that, they're hilarious. And like I'm not going to give it away, but the last girl on the voicemail, on that, you can hear that Baltimore accent, and that just made me like crack up. I really liked On God. It's like, I think we all can hopefully relate. There's a lot of talk on social media, especially about evolving and finding your lane. And when you do have people in your circle that you realize aren't really your friends, like having to separate from those folks and get yourself in a good space, start over, demanding respect for yourself. And then Hopeful, that one I listened to again. It's just like this beautiful love letter, you know, when you think about everything that's been going on, the social activism and just all the wounds that we need to heal in this country. Hopeful is just like a really, really great song. So this was yet another personal album that I thought the artist did a great job with. So good job, Vontae. One thing that I wanted to note that you noted in the piece was Vontae said that he looks to, you know, speak from his personal experiences, but to empower his listeners. So I thought that was a really great quote and a good way to wrap up what you said. You feel like you know him when you listen to it.
I agree.
So now,
hard part.
I was thinking, I'm like, should we narrow it down to one or just like two of our top picks? Because there's five. We were blessed to have 5 artists to feature for the month of July. So let's just kind of, you know, keep it organic. Do you have a favorite or like more than one favorite out of the 5?
I have 2 favorites.
Okay.
Again, like you said, all 5 were incredible. I will continue to listen to all 5 and keep an eye on all 5. But 2 of them I completely connected with. Like I couldn't stop listening to both albums. And for me, that was Vontae and Apollo Lofton. The most ones. Okay. I love both of them.
Okay.
How about you?
So If Vontae had not come in at the last week of July, my choices would be different. So I agree with you. Vontae, I keep going back and listening to him. And Gage. And Gage, I knew was a standout when I added him to, I think everybody has like that one long playlist of songs that you just keep adding to. And without even thinking, just instinctively, I added a couple of his songs from Lord of the Fly 2 to my playlist that has like the Jay-Z's and the Kanye West and all that. So, and like you said, it was so hard for me because like we talked about, even with King Prince, like you end up listening to his album like 3 times in a row. And I love Sly Spitta, but the ones that I kept coming back to and still come back to are Gage, Lord of the Fly 2, and Note to Self, Vontae. So those are my top 2. But I also see, it was hard. If I had to pick 3, Apollo Lofton would be the third one. But
it was definitely hard. I agree with you with the playlist thing. Vontae ended up on one of my playlists. That's how you know when you can just, when they seamlessly fit into what you already know and love, that's right. When you know it's going to be an artist you're going to follow for a long time.
Absolutely. And we will continue to follow, like you said, all of the artists. So keep updating us as you continue to make new music. I know some of the folks that are probably going to end up watching this video are not just, big fans of music and hip hop, but probably artists themselves or artists that are being developed. So be sure to contact us for any Fresh Artist Friday submissions. It is a real process because not everyone gets selected. I didn't know if we were going to have time. It looks like we have a little bit of time. I did want to shout out Sabyn, who was not a Fresh Artist Friday feature, but he was featured, I think today or yesterday in People magazine after we featured him. He's the nephew of Dolly Parton. And he just has an amazing story. I was really excited that we got to cover it. And again, another very just humble individual. He's connected with us on social and just, you see all of his friends, family, and now fans rooting for him. And so we're really happy for you. In addition to the People magazine feature, his official video just dropped today, which I updated the post, so you can go check that out. And that's 9 to 5 to 9, featuring his famous auntie, who everyone loves, Dolly Parton. So I wanted to give a shout out to Sabyn. And we mentioned at the beginning, we talked about Gage and his feature from Jadakiss on Lord of the Fly 2. Are you watching Versus tonight with the Locks versus Dipset?
I am hoping to. I have my dad's birthday was this weekend, so we
have happy birthday.
I'm hoping to. I'll definitely watch it when we get back. I'm excited, so excited.
I'm like, I have the living room is set up, the snacks are ready. And my friends are already like, we know we're going to see you in the comments. Of course you're going to see me in the comments. You're going to see me in the comments all the time. I'm going to be ridiculous. And I'll be honest, like, just if you go on an artist basis, like not the groups, I have always loved and still love Jadakiss. I love everyone in both groups, but I'm a huge Jadakiss fan. But I do listen to Dipset. When I lived in Washington Heights in New York, I have it's in my phone. You can't find it on streaming. It's I forget the DJ's name. I'll probably drop it in the comments. But there's this one, I don't want to say the wrong name. I think his name just popped in my head. DJ, where it's like 2 hours straight of like the best from Dipset. And my uncle produced for them too, Brian All Day Miller as well. So I love both. Whoever wins is fair and square. Is just going to be exciting because there's so much talent between both groups. So maybe we'll recap that. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm excited.
Yeah. I also just wanted to add, I know we were featuring the 5 artists, but please feel free to look back through all the Fresh Artist Fridays that we posted. They're all incredibly talented.
Yes.
And hopefully we continue doing these videos because it's always so nice to go back and listen to the artists that we've covered in the past and like almost rediscover how great they were from the first time I listened.
Yeah. And we're both, I think, to some extent, hip hop nerds and writing. And there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on besides the writing. There's a new profile that I'm going to share on Twitter tonight from XXXTentacion that Prxnce just completed. I completed the Pop Smoke one recently. We have a lot more because hip hop is humongous. Artists to feature. So, I mean, I can't even get into all the things that we do behind the scenes. So I think for our audience, it's great for them to actually see our faces and hear our voices. And we'll do our best to keep doing these monthly wrap-ups. So I think this was a great start.
I agree. This was super fun.
All right, Miss Priscilla, I'm gonna get ready for verses and I will talk to you soon. And shout out to everyone watching this video.
Thank you. Bye. So nice talking to you.
Too.